Hey everybody, this is Chris. I'm here with Jeff with
Hello.
the Hamilton Amateur Astronomers. We're doing a segment called Talking Telescopes where we talk with our members about their telescopes. So today we're talking with Jeff about one of his telescopes, which is this really cool Dob.
No, this is
Um,
actually a cannon.
oh, I'm so sorry.
It
It's the
fires
other.
cannonballs. Yeah.
That's a completely different channel. Switch to Hamilton Amateur Astronomers Artillery. Yeah. Oh, Hamilton Amateur Artillery Channel.
There you go. HAA.
HAA, that's right. We're going to cut this part out, but not to be confused with the other Hamilton AA. And that's how you get into trouble. So, Jeff, what is this?
Well, this is a 10-inch Dobsonian telescope.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a progression for me. This is the last one that I bought. I have 4 different telescopes.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of went from DSLR camera lenses to a Tsukov Cassegrain telescope for imaging, for viewing the solar system and doing a little bit of imaging as well. And then I went to another Newtonian telescope, a smaller version, a FlexTube telescope like this one is, a smaller version. I also picked up a refractor telescope, a short tube refractor, all in the Skywatcher family, all controlled remotely by the SynScan app from your smartphone. This is called FlexTube, not because the tube can bend, which would be bad. It's because it telescopes. So in order for portability, and when it comes to a scope this big, it's not really easy to move around. You just simply slide this up. Tighten? Yeah, that's tight. That's why. Slide that up so it's full length and lock it in place. And you now have a 1200 millimeter focal length, a 250 millimeter diameter aperture. So it's an f3.9, I believe. It's very fast. Fast means it's bright. It's capturing a lot of photons of light. And so it gives you super bright views. I got really interested in a 10-inch Newtonian from actually Chris Cheatley at Hamilton Amateur Astronomers. He's got, I think he still has it, this wonderful custom-made Dobsonian telescope, a 10-inch. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Beautiful thing, just beautiful. It's all custom, handmade. It's got like a wood base that's got this beautiful stained finish on it, and it's an awesome views in the telescope. So I thought I really want to get a 10-inch. But going back to some of the criteria that I had with skies that aren't easy to navigate in, especially for someone like me that's kind of a novice to the night sky, I wanted to get one that's go-to. So this is go-to tracking telescope, again using that SynScan app. And going back to what I said in one of your previous videos, when you come across people online in these forums that say you can't do this and you can't do that, that just makes people like me want to try it.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I did actually come across that. This is getting to do with imaging with a Dobsonian telescope. I came across a PDF from someone who did imaging with his 10-inch Dobsonian telescope. In fact, with the Skywatcher model right here, the FlexTube 250p, and it's not just a couple of pages. It's like a booklet. He went through everything about how to image with it, and I went through the whole thing, and I said, yes, it can be done. I can do it with this telescope, and that's why I purchased it. My dream is to do really fast EAA. So when you have a bright, fast telescope like this, you can capture amazing things in a really short period of time. Okay, so that's my goal, is to get to that stage. So I have done imaging with this telescope. Not live stacking like you do in electronically assisted astronomy, EAA. Think smart telescopes. They are actually EAA telescopes. That's what they're doing. They're giving you the best of both worlds. You get to view the object in the night sky live like you do normally looking through an eyepiece, but you also get to see a lot more detail in it because it's stacking one image after another, and you're watching over time as it becomes a better and better image. So that's the goal with this telescope. A couple of drawbacks: it's hard to move around, even though it separates into two pieces, the base and the optical tube. Like the whole thing together, considering that there's motors in the base, it weighs, I would guess, around 88 pounds.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
So I can lift it and move it short distances, but only short distances. And for people that are in small cars or something like that, it might actually be difficult to transport.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing stands up pretty tall. You can put it in the back of an SUV, for instance.
Well, I've seen you bring this out to a dark sky location.
Yeah, about to Benbrook. I have brought it several times. But I mean, I'm putting it in my pickup truck. I got lots of room in the back. So it's not a problem. But for a lot of people in small cars, it's going to be an issue. You'd be stuffing it in the back seat somehow.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would fit in some trunks, this thing.
But you take the scope off.
Yeah, I've got it.
When you,
I have to take this lockdown out to do it. But if I just give me about 5 minutes and I'll have it out. It's a really long bolt.
So while you were doing that, one thing that I do remember when you were bringing it out to a dark sky location, you had some challenges of making sure that it was level. I mean, it's fine if you're out on concrete pavement, but when you're out on grass, is there a way to control the little feet on the base?
So I put a tarp under it. Like, this is MDF, so I don't want it to be sitting in wet grass.
No, yeah.
So I put a tarp down underneath, and then I have just cedar shims that I use, and I have a level on the base.
Yep.
I also have a little portable inclinometer that I use, and I level it using the wood shims. It's not hard to do. You need 2 wood shims to level it, and that's it.
How many feet does it have?
3. 3 feet, yeah. So as far as transporting the tube, I bought these straps, and it just simply lifts out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Now, this is pretty light, 30 pounds, maybe 32, 33. The base is quite a bit more. And that just locks in place like that. An interesting thing about a FlexTube telescope, other than the fact that it's designed to make it more portable. I mean, I bought a bag and I custom made a frame to put the telescope in, a padded frame. So it's, I don't know what this is, 38 inches long or something like that. So it's significantly shorter and easier to move.
Yeah. Question for you. So this has 2 motors. There's one I can see in the base. There's one here. What do you use to power this telescope?
I use a power station.
Okay.
Want me to get it?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
This one right here. I use it with this.
Okay. And what's the power capacity on that?
This is up to 300 watts. These things just sip power. Those motors do not take very much to track. Like, if you were doing lots of slewing, it would run the battery significantly faster. But I'll use this for hours and hours, and I'll come home and look, and it's like at 95% capacity. So
wow, that's pretty good. And is that a lithium battery?
Yep. Yeah. This is All Powers makes this. They sell them on Amazon. They sell lots of them. I actually made a couple of platforms. I have one at the front here that I custom made, and these are very light. They're just I don't know, it's chloroplast, I guess you call it. The stuff they make plastic signs out of. And I put a bag on here that's got my eyepieces in it. It's got adapters, all that kind of thing in one bag. And then I have another platform that slides in around the motor on the back. I don't have it right with me. It slides in here like this, and I set the battery on the back of that. So you don't have a cable winding itself around the telescope as it's moving around.
That's right.
So yeah, and again, it's made out of chloroplast, and I just reinforced it with shims on the bottom, so it's pretty stiff. Yeah, so that's this is I've done imaging, like I said. I have this. I'm not trying to brag or anything because I was just shocked, but this is in my backyard at Bortle 7. There was a bit of a moon up, I think like a quarter moon or something, and I had a CLS filter on my unmodified DSLR.
Mm-hmm.
And now, mind you, I'm shooting the brightest nebula in the northern sky, the M42, Orion Nebula. But this amazing image came with just 7 minutes of exposure time. And when I did that, I just knew that this telescope could do that what I wanted to do, which is to live stack and get really good images in a relatively short period of time. Even compared to the little smart telescopes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. With that speed of optics, absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Now, this is a pretty heavy-duty focuser here. This is all made of metal. You were showing me earlier the 150p, which had plastic.
The
helical
focuser.
But the rods that held the front of the telescope, they were plastic.
Oh no, they're steel tubes.
Yeah, these ones are steel tubes.
These are the other ones were two, which is that there was only two of those.
Okay.
And here there's three.
Oh,
and these ones are 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
As opposed to those ones which maybe like
under
a half inch thick or about a half inch thick. So
this is much more stable.
Yes, and it has three locking screws to lock down.
Yeah.
And I just remembered the other thing that I wanted to say earlier, which is really cool about FlexTube, is sometimes you run out of back focus.
Okay.
Right? Well, with this, you can simply shorten the length of the tube and gain back what you need.
Right.
So you can kind of work around problems that people would normally get that can't seem to resolve with the proper amount of focus range, right? You can adjust this a little bit. And of course, the shorter you make it, the faster it gets. But also, you run into a problem with the image being too big for the secondary mirror.
Right.
Right.
So you're cropping.
You're cropping a lot. Yeah. Although this is an extremely large secondary mirror, much bigger than was what necessary.
Yeah.
I guess that's why.
Now, a lot of these telescopes have these ports on the front dust cover.
Yeah.
And is that for solar viewing?
Yeah, it's an aperture reducer. Right. I've used that too for solar. I have a little solar white light filter that fits on the end of my camera lenses, and I just tape it to this, and I've done solar imaging with it.
Okay.
A little bit. Another difficulty with this is single speed focuser, right? We should really was a 2-speed. I could upgrade it, but it's a big problem getting it to fit properly, and they're quite expensive. They're over $300 for a good one.
Yeah. That's interesting. The that's
aluminum.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a good size wheel.
Yeah.
But if you move it really slowly, you can kind of feel a little détente.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's not perfectly smooth. So you can't go in between those détentes, right?
And that's more to do with the gearing inside versus the wheel.
I don't know if I lubricated it, the gears might be a little smoother. And it's not even a gear. It's the shaft of this focus wheel riding on a flat spot on the bottom of the focus tube. Right?
Yeah.
That flat spot is kind of a little rougher surface, and it grips with like a Teflon grip, and you're able to slide the focuser up and down.
Yeah.
Crayford focuser, it's called. This is not a rack and pinion focuser, which I would much prefer. If I was going to replace it, I'd get a rack and pinion dual speed focuser, or I'll put on a electronic focuser.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem with those is, like I like to use this for viewing because it is actually really good. It overcomes a lot of problems in skies like ours. But the problem is that with the electronic focuser, it's a little, you know,
It's not as handy, right? It's
it's
a
a
little
little
more
bit of a
inconvenient
problem.
to try to.
Yeah, you got a really slow motion moving back and forth trying to focus the eyepiece.
And if it's just you, that's fine. You're going
You
to
got to do it
focus it to
for
your
everybody.
eyes, but if you're trying to show someone
But
else visually
like I told you, I put an electronic focuser on
on the
my
Mac,
Mac,
yeah.
and that works pretty good because it's just two buttons on a controller, and so I've done outreach and I just hand it to people and say, "Here, focus it yourself," and they just like to fool around with it, going back and forth. So you can just stand there looking in the telescope and pushing the focus control and
Okay,
focus.
so I'll be honest, I do the same thing, but it's not for trying to have fun with it. I honestly can't tell when it's in focus. Well, this is a really cool telescope. I've seen you use this with your DSLR.
Yes.
Now that you've got a cooled astro camera, what are your plans for this? Are you going to try to sit up
This
with
is
that?
going to be, I'm hoping, my primary imaging telescope. Because I want to, well, not just doing imaging, but doing EAA, electronically assisted astronomy. There is a difference. People say, well, you're taking pictures of the night sky, that's astrophotography. Um, but it's not the
I
same.
say that.
It's not the same.
Okay, how?
You don't need to do any polar alignment. You don't need to do any guiding. You don't need to do any of those things. You just, like this, Alt-Az mount pointed at the object. Now you do have tracking in your mount to do that. It'll track the object in the sky and take short exposures. And you don't have to worry about drifting or anything like that because you're only taking short exposures. I use, now I'm not at that stage yet, but using an application like SharpCap to do the image captures and live stack. Live stacking means you're watching one frame after another, make the image better, enhance the image more and more. And doing that, I think, it makes a huge difference in you enjoying the views of the night sky. And that's really where EAA lies.
Yeah. Well, I would absolutely agree with that, especially from locations like what we have. So, from really poor and border skies, sometimes the camera with a good filter will pick up a lot more than your eyes can. And just to add to that, one of the biggest frustrations for me with trying to visually observe from my backyard is my eyes never really adjust to the dark because neighbors have lights, there's street lights, there's sky glow, there's all sorts of things that prevent my eyes from fully acclimating to the dark to be able to make out some of the details. Whereas with a camera, the camera can pick up those details for you, and with the stacking, it removes a lot of the noise as it actively takes more and more frames, which really lets you enjoy astronomy from really terrible light polluted locations that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do that from. So it really is a great approach to solving that problem. And on top of that, it really helps to have your telescope out in the freezing cold doing automatic image capture while you're inside enjoying heat.
Getting there is a long road, a long and difficult road. I started on the road, but I have a long, long way to go. I mean, there's a reason why smart telescopes have become so popular because they're so easy to use and they do all those things that imagers spend so much time and money and training and everything to learn how to use it and put it together and solve all the problems. With a smart telescope, it's already done for you. You just align it to the night sky and start imaging. My next purchase is going to be a smart telescope. um, because when I travel, I want to not have to haul equipment, mounts, and telescopes along. I just want to take a little thing that's the size of a textbook
Mm-hmm.
and pack it in my suitcase, and away I go.
Well, Jeff, we're going to check back with you when you do that. And I'd love to check back with you on this telescope and how things are going with your EAA project, as well as your other telescopes as you're progressing with those. And looking forward to some of both your up and coming astrophotography trials as well as your EAA.
Yes, hopefully that comes sooner rather than later. We'll see.
Jeff, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Chris. Much appreciated.
Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great night or day or whatever time it is where you are. And we'll catch you next time.
Take care.